Comic collecting can be one of the most exciting journeys that a comic fan can embark on. But as a beginner, it's easy to make a lot of crucial mistakes. Today, I'm going to share with you guys some of my collecting experience and some of my mistakes so that you can become the best collector that you can be. So to all my comic fans, comic collectors, and comic professionals, I'm EQ. This is True Believer Comics. Let's go. First off, I gotta thank everybody for all the love you've been showing me on my YouTube journey. I can't express enough how much I love you guys, how much I love this community. So, before we get into the nitty gritty, hit the subscribe, hit the like, throw a little comment in there at the end once you watch the video, hit the little bell notification thing. It means the world to me to have your support on this channel. Thanks. Before we get into the tips and the mistakes, it's a very important thing that we have to talk about. Is your comic book collecting mindset. There's a huge difference between a collector who collects for value or because they love the book. There is a both. So don't worry, you don't have to choose sides, but it is very important for you to know whether you're collecting for investments, because comic books do gain value and they can be an investment strategy, or are you collecting because you love the books, you love the artist, you love the story, you love a movie, a cartoon, a TV show? There's so many reasons to collect comic books. What really made me make this video was being at Bam Splat Pow, booth 133, Frankenson's Collectibles, and all these new collectors asking me questions. What do I do? Am I doing this wrong? It made me realize that a lot of new collectors need some guidance, they need some knowledge on this lifelong journey that they're about to embark on. And that's what I'm here for, so let's get right to it. Okay, so not to start with the negative, but let's start off with the mistakes. The number one mistake I see from new collectors is not taking care of your collection. Don't worry, it's not your fault. You don't know any better. But there is a proper way to store, to bag and board your comics so that they last long and that they keep the condition for as long as possible, which condition equals value in this comic book game. Cement that in your mindset right now. I'll be doing a future video specifically on grades and grading and that whole journey of becoming a comic book collector. And it's a big part of being a comic book professional as well. But grading / condition, just remember condition right now, means everything in this comic book game. Number 2 on the mistakes is FOMO. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it's fear of missing out. This is when, especially new collectors, but I'm not gonna lie, seasoned collectors are just as guilty of this. Fear of missing out is when you're going to your LCS and you're buying everything that's speculative. So there might be a movie coming out, there might be a series coming out, a cartoon, and it just sparks an interest within the community of this is going to be the next book. What I would say to a new collector is to limit your focus at first to the books or the characters that got you to start collecting in the first place. There's a reason why you're in the LCS. There's a reason why we're talking and you're tuned in now. Another mistake of new collectors is not doing your research. You're going to be looking up names of artists, names of writers, then you're going to be diving even deeper because the history of comic books almost goes back 100 years. So if it was Superman that sparked the interest in you to collect comics, you have about 80 years of Superman lore that you can go back and research. You don't have to research all of it, but you're in for a treat if you go back and you learn even the beginnings, the origin story of any character you're interested in. You're in for a journey. Okay, so let's get on to some tips. This might confuse you guys because I talked about FOMO, fear of missing out, being one of the mistakes of comic book collectors, but it could also be a good thing. There's this one statement that I constantly hear in the comic book community. The only regret that you have is the books that you didn't buy. Let me explain. So every Wednesday is new comic book day, and you get those books at cover price, which for right now is about between $3 to $6 for a brand new book. Now, just picture this. If you're watching this right now, I'm pretty sure you know what the animated series is, but did you know that it started off as a comic book? So the people who bought that comic book on New Comic Book Day, they got it for $3 to $6. Now, number one is between $3,500 and $5,000. So imagine you were one of those people who went to a LCS and got it for cover price. That's crazy. Even me, I have some books that I was interested in, had a little spark of interest, but I was at the comic book shop on New Comic Book Day. This is 10, 15 years ago. And I was just like, well, that book looks interesting. Let me pick that up. Now, some of those books are worth $2,000 and more. That's what I'm saying. Fear of missing out, sometimes FOMO, is not a bad thing. So if you have the extra budget, if you got a little bit of cash flow, and you see a #1 issue of a key character, we call them key issues, pick it up, read it, or going back to that collector's mindset, are you in it for an investment? Are you in it for the love of that character or comic book? I'm not gonna lie, there are certain new runs that I'm into, like Absolute Universe, all of them, I'm in that to win it. I read them all carefully, I put them back in the bags and boards, and I never touch them again. But just recently, I bought Supergirl, I bought Death of Silver Surfer. There's more than a few books that I bought because I think that they might be a good investment and or it might be good for trade. If you want to know more about trades, go back a few videos, Comic Book Collector Evolutions, and I talk about trades. Before we continue, and I give you the most important tip, maybe the whole reason why I made this video, what I need you guys to do, hit that like, hit that comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification thing so you can see when I'm dropping new videos. Every Wednesday, I'm dropping new videos on New Comic Book Day, but I got a surprise. I'm gonna try to start posting, keyword. I wanna start posting 2 times a week because I wanna give you guys the maximum experience of what it's like to be a comic fan, a comic collector, and a comic professional. That's what we do here at True Believers. Let's get back to it. The last and most important tip to becoming a happy, fulfilled comic book collector is to build relationships with shops, dealers, booths, and other collectors. I know that might sound strange. I know some of us as comic book collectors are introverts and it's kind of scary going out there and putting yourself out there, but I'll tell you what, since working at Bam Splat Pow, Frankensons, I have never seen the introverts come out and start expressing themselves with such great passion and building relationships with me. I have phone numbers from clients. I have phone numbers from other dealers. We communicate. We follow each other on social media. We share things. We build, because that's what this comic community is all about. And honestly, I think that's what the comic community needs. We've all been to shops and not felt that warm, welcoming feeling. But sometimes it's up to you to spark that energy in the room. And I know you can do it. Once you build these solid relationships with shops, with dealers, with collectors, the whole comic community is going to open up to you. You're going to learn more. You're going to possibly get opportunities in the community to become maybe a comic book professional. That's what I did. And you might actually run across some great deals or some better deals than the people who don't have relationships with these people at all. So I really hope this has helped you guys. I wish that I had this knowledge when I was first starting off as a comic collector, but that's why I'm here, sharing it with you guys. So as always, love, peace, wisdom, and strength.